Yellow, and welcome to episode actually 128 this time of the TEW 2 Challenge Run. This is going to be Monday Night Raw for week 4 of April 2021, and we are on the Go Home show to the Backlash pay-per-view Down Under this Saturday night. And we're going to find out what our main event is, because we've got Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee and Buddy Murphy versus Ricochet tonight in the semi-finals, where the winners will face each other in the main event of Backlash to determine the next World Heavyweight Champion. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show.
Life has been taken for granted too long. The lies and excuses have conquered. It's just a time bomb waiting to go off. So tell me why has it come to this? We live just like we're dead. Afraid of something, afraid of someone. It's time to rise from the ashes. Rise into new day. Life has been taken for
The show opens with the entire Hurt Business in the ring, all in their suits, other than Lashley, of course, who's in his ring gear. And MVP talks about what is this, what is the Hurt Business, and why did we target Drew McIntyre? Well, you see, as a group, me, Bobby, and Shelton, we were tired of being overlooked as just the VIPs of the show, because we were the VIP nation of this show, and I was the MVP, as my name implies, but nobody was taking notice of us. We had to force action. The almighty Bobby Lashley beat the Monster Among Men at WrestleMania. And where's he been recently? Nowhere around, because the almighty Bobby Lashley put him down. Cedric Alexander and Dio Madden, they've been on a tear ever since they broke up from Ricochet, who was holding them back. And we've decided that now we're not going to sit back in line. We're going to take and cut to the front of the line. That starts with the self-proclaimed franchise player, Drew McIntyre. And yeah, we targeted Drew McIntyre because he's running his mouth here like he's the ace of this show, when the ace of this show is standing right here. That's the almighty Bobby Lashley. And that's going to be proven even further this Saturday night, after he beats Keith Lee here tonight, and he dismantles either Buddy Murphy or Ricochet at Backlash to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. We then get Lashley versus Keith Lee, which gets a 78, which is fine, I guess, because apparently they've got a lack of psychology and a lack of selling. But Keith Lee pins Bobby Lashley with the BBC because Drew McIntyre comes in and gives him a Claymore halfway through the match. Well, not halfway through, like 20 seconds towards the end. The referee's distracted by the Hurt Business on the outside, MVP and all of them. When Drew slides in, Claymore to Lashley. Keith Lee hits up with BBC 1-2-3. Keith Lee advances to Backlash to face the winner of the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. An 86 for Bobby Lashley and a 90 for Keith Lee. Back after the break, Charlie Caruso, she cuts up like, Drew, can we get a word on your thoughts on the Hurt Business and Bobby Lashley? And he says, I don't give a damn about the Hurt Business. They're looking to try and make a name off my expense. I elevate people. I am the franchise because I earned it at WrestleMania. I wasn't given that right. I've been given many things throughout my career. I was given the target of the chosen one. But I wasn't given this. I earned this. So you can poke it, MVP. Because tonight, the franchise challenge, we're not having that. The franchise is calling you out. Any member of the Hurt Business. I'll see you in that ring later on tonight. 61 for the number one contenders match for the women's tag team titles. It is the A-lists, Aaliyah and Brandy against Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross versus Tamina and Tam of J-Flow. Not Tamina. And it says elimination, but it probably wouldn't be elimination. We just have Tam get pinned via Elias shenanigans. 56 for Brandy, 49 for Aaliyah, 58 for Nikki Cross, 57 for Kaylee Ray, 60 for Tam, and a 56 for Mina. So Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross do earn their shot against, I guess, their mentor, Paige, and her friend AJ Lee at Backlash this Saturday night. Post-match shenanigans involving the three members of J-Flow who were not in the match, and Frankie Monet and Elias, as well as the Miz and Morrison. Elias is distracting them, saying he's got some sort of song that he's going to sing. They cut him off, etc. And it leads to Miz announcing on the kickoff for Backlash it will be Frankie Monet, Aaliyah, and Brandy against 3 members of J-Flow, which then a graphic would flow up and it would be confirmed as Maki, Tam, and Mina. And that will be the kickoff match for the Backlash pay-per-view. Vega Mafia in the ring, and she says, "What is there really? Come out here and sell yourself while you're going to beat the New Day. What is there to say? Boys, we've been doing this for months now, and our record speaks for itself. You only beat us when you had Big E in your corner at WrestleMania. When it was 3 of us and 3 of you, every time we've met 2-on-2, my boys have come out on top. And that'll be no exception at Backlash. And your little precious 10th World Tag Team title reign that you worked so hard to get is going to come crumbling down in just 28 days. 28 days, because you couldn't let this thing go. You had to come back swinging for the Vega Mafia, who we've had your number this whole time. Then the New Day come out and they say, no, you may think you had our number, but we're the New Day, we're the greatest tag team of this generation. And if anything, we're not going to sit back and let you talk to us like that. It's going to be one-on-one, Kofi and Andrade up next, which is apparently a match we've never done. When I looked at the booking thing, I thought for sure we'd have done this in one of these months, but we actually haven't. And the numbers game catches up to Kofi, because he gets beat by Andrade via shenanigans, because he's got Woods in his corner, Andrade's got Vega, Escobar, and Scott in his corner. So the numbers game and shenanigans catches up to Kofi. Andrade pins him with a Hammerlock DDT in 11:34. A 95 for Andrade and an 81 for Kofi Kingston. Just a casual 95. We then get a backstage interview. Charlie Caruso is with the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, Bronson Reed. Talk about why Damian Priest picked him and what he's going to bring this Saturday in his home turf with Australia. And that Priest, he did a nice thing to give Reed this match, but let's not take Bronson Reed lightly. He's coming to Australia and he's leaving with that IC title. And once that bell rings, all respect between him and Priest goes out the window. That's when Cameron Grimes walks in a frame and he says, well, Bronson Reed, here's the deal. Okay, you know that Cameron Grimes, he's got your number. And last week you cheated to beat Cameron Grimes to earn the shot at the Intercontinental Championship. So, as the smart businessman that I am, Bo, count him, and Bo's there, he's counting for a stack of money. He's like, how much, Bronson? And he's like, how much for what, mate? And he's like, how much would it cost me to buy your Intercontinental Championship match at Backlash? And then Reed's like, it's not for sale. And he's like, oh, come on, everyone's got a price, as the $1 Million Man used to say, and I am the new $1 Million Man. So, come on, name your price, Bronson. Say, 10,000? And Reed's like, no, it's not for sale. But I know what is for sale, this ass whooping that you're asking for again. And Grimes says, no, we don't want any kind of ass whooping. And then Damian Priest walks in a frame. Is there some sort of problem going on here? Are these two Neanderthals bugging you this close to your big championship match? And then tag team match is made. Can the champion and challenger coexist against the stock exchange later on tonight? We then get a Rhea Ripley pre-recorded video similar to the one Tony cut last week, talking about their history, but why she's going to bring the brutality down under at Backlash and beat her old friend Toni Storm to cement her legacy and her brutality here on Monday Night Raw, ahead of Toni Storm's match with Mandy Rose, which gives a 56, a 55 for Toni, and a 45 for Mandy. Yeah, it's fine for having no storyline attached and just for being these ratings. We then cut to Eve's office where she's with Garza and Raquel. And Garza says, come on, Eve. Raquel Gonzalez, she was the runner-up in the WrestleMania Battle Royal, and she was very high on your draft picks, but yet she hasn't had her first match here on Raw. Stop wasting time and get Raquel in that ring. And Eve says, okay, I'll find you an opponent. I heard Peyton Royce is available because Billie Kay is currently out with a knee injury. So it'll be Raquel Gonzalez and Peyton Royce later on tonight. And Garza says, that's excellent. And he goes to give Eve a rose to thank her when Raquel's like, and looks at him all funny because he's flirting with another woman. She's like, oh no, it's just a token of thanks, and he gives Raquel the rose. Just a funny little skit when they leave. And then when Eve turns around, Alexa Bliss has walked in. And she's got her hair's a bit of a mess, but other than that, she seems fine. She's like, hi, what do you want to see me for, Eve? She's like, how are you feeling? She's like, I'm feeling, what do you mean? Why would I not be feeling okay? It's just last week I lost. That's all that happened to me last week, Eve. What are you on about? And he's like, okay, well, tonight we have the 3 women who are getting the championship match at Backlash, and we need an officiant here, so how do you say we get them on Moment of Bliss? And Alexa starts laughing. She says, oh, I'd love to do that, Eve. This will be my Moment of Bliss, because on these talk shows, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what could go wrong. I'm kidding, of course. I'll see you out there. Undisputed Era promo says, well, your boys are stuck in the back again. I don't know what it is. We were first round draft picks. Well, what have we done to piss off management? Was it because we went for the championships on our first night? Sorry for having the guts. Sorry for having the confidence that we could win them. Is it because we took out Edge and Christian? I mean, we haven't seen them since the Raw after WrestleMania, and that was all because of us. Is that what's pissed off management? Why is Adam Cole, Bebe, and the rest of the Undisputed Era sitting back, watching losers like the Vega Mafia get shot after shot after shot for these tag team championships by the New Day constantly in the title picture? When you've got fresh blood, you've got the future of tag team wrestling right here in the Undisputed Era, and you've got Adam Cole, Bebe, the most charismatic young stud to come across this brand in many, many years. And we will make our mark. It's only a matter of time, and that is undisputed. Tag match gets a 77. Unfortunately, Priest and Reed don't work well as a team, which upsets me because I thought they'd be a fun little combo to fall back on a couple of times in the future. But they do coexist. Bronson Reed pins Bo Dallas with the Tsunami. 76 for Bronson, 73 for Damian Priest, 53 for Bo Dallas, and a 66 for Cameron Grimes. And then a tense post-match celebration where Priest will hold the title up in celebration, and Bronson would look up at it, and then Priest would notice he was looking at the title, and he would sort of give him a nod of approval, and then inevitably start chatting shit off mic at each other, and then giving each other a tense fist pump, because it's going to be all about that title on Saturday night. We then get the coronation of Apollo Crews. He says that his royal ancestors in Nigeria, they've seen and they love their new prince, and that he's going to be honoured and bestowed upon the greatest honour of his ancestors. They're going to give him the Nigerian nail, which in this world isn't Babatunde's finisher. It's going to be the official crowning of him as a prince, where they're going to use the stick to knight him. And there's some local indie guy dressed as a Nigerian prince in the ring who knights Apollo with the staff. He says, you're officially our Nigerian prince, Apollo Crews, and you may make us proud at Backlash when you defeat that pesky Daniel Bryan. That's when Daniel Bryan comes out and he says, I hate to interrupt this whole totally real parade you've got going on here, Apollo, but is this not all a bit much? I mean, all I did was... In fact, what did I do? Apollo, you never really told me. Apollo's like, you know what you did, Bryan. This goes back many, many months. I missed out on the Royal Rumble because of you. I've missed out on championship opportunities because of you. And now you're going to miss out on months of your career because you've pissed off the wrong prince. Because as my Nigerian ancestor used to say, pain is best served, or revenge is best served sweet. And at Backlash it's going to be also sweet when I crack this staff across your back and I hit you with my Nigerian slam. And I pin you 1, 2, 3 for all of my country. And to the disdain of yours. And Brian's like, okay, I see what this is. You're holding on a grudge from January, from when I got pinned when we were supposed to get in the Royal Rumble. That's a very weird, bizarre grudge to hold. I thought we shared a common goal. That's why we were on the same team at WrestleMania, and I helped you many times, but if this is what you want to do. If you want to fight, then I say, why wait till Saturday night? Let's get this on now. Brian storms into the ring. Apollo runs out and escapes through the crowd. And of course, as is tradition when a wrestler is in the ring with a local talent dressed up as something gimmicky, Brian then beats the shit out of the Nigerian prince guy in the ring, gives him the running knee, and then yes, as Apollo's up the stairs in the crowd, Brian's yesing on the turnbuckle looking up. Apollo is in the cheap seats. Just a fun segment, just to can advance that story. But anyway, Raquel Gonzalez gets a win in her singles debut here on Raw. She beats Peyton Royce with a big boot in 5 minutes and 32 seconds. A 57 for Raquel and a 60 for Peyton Royce. Nice little match there. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and you are looking on tonight at a very pissed off Brock Lesnar. Because you see, as everyone knows, Brock Lesnar's dates, they're very limited. Because Brock Lesnar, he's a special attraction. He doesn't get out of bed for the cheap paydays. And they're going to fly Brock Lesnar to Australia, the complete other side of the world. 12 hours time difference. Brock Lesnar's got to sit on that plane for all that time to get to Backlash. And who is he wrestling at Backlash? He's not wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not even wrestling the franchise Drew McIntyre. He's not getting a rematch with Keith Lee, no. Brock Lesnar is wrestling... Brock Lesnar is wrestling some guy named Oney Lorcan. And this guy, Oney Lorcan, he's been trying to pick a fight with Brock Lesnar for months. In the Royal Rumble, he picked a fight with Brock Lesnar, and he ended up with his face caved in and blood pouring down his face. The night after WrestleMania, he picked a fight with Brock Lesnar. He was left laying in the ring with blood on his face. At Backlash, he's going to have picked a fight with Brock Lesnar, and he's going to be left in the ring with blood on his face. And that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler, because Keith Lee may have got lucky against Brock Lesnar, and I wish him all the best. He's going on to wrestle for the World Heavyweight Championship, and by God, if he wins that, I'm sure Brock Lesnar's eyes will be glaring towards that title, because he still has unfinished business with Keith Lee after what happened at WrestleMania. They're 1-for-1 in their little series, but right now, Brock's got a flea, a little pest he has to swat away, who seems to think that he can kick as much ass as a paid professional ass kicker, when in reality, I admire his spunk, for lack of a better word, because I see why you like Oney Lorcan. He takes it all and he gets back up and he throws his hand in the air and you all throw your hands up with him, but let's be real for a second here. Who is Oney Lorcan? What has Oney Lorcan done? Who has Oney Lorcan ever beat? You're struggling, aren't you, to think of anything? Because Oney Lorcan's a joke. He's a nobody. And he certainly doesn't belong in the ring with Brock Lesnar. And at Backlash, Brock's going to be pissed off of being on that plane for 12 hours to sit there for a 2-minute match. So this will be the easiest payday of Brock Lesnar's life, but then what? What's next for Oney Lorcan once he finds out that he's not on Brock Lesnar's level? This is his one shot to try and make a name for himself, and he's going to fall flat on his face yet again. Because not Oney Lorcan and nobody on this roster can kick as much ass as Brock. That's when from off camera, Oney slides into the ring, and he actually gets the jump on Brock. He elbows him in the face, and the crowd erupts, and he starts smashing elbows into Brock's head, and he gets him into the corner, and he starts nailing Brock with the uppercuts in the corner, and then he screams, he takes his shirt off, he gets all fired up, and he goes to run in the corner, but Brock Lesnar actually slides under the bottom rope to get away from Oney, and the crowd boos. But Oney, he's not taking that. He's going to charge against the ropes and propel himself to the outside. Massive dive, taking the beast to the floor. Crowd erupts again. And Oney screams, and he goes to chase Brock Lesnar down when referees pull the two apart. And Oney's got the jump on the beast. 5 days before they battle in Australia. And of course, 9,500 people in the Cross Insurance Arena. Index fingers sky high. Because maybe, just maybe, Oney can actually do it. 76? Fucking hell, I didn't expect that to do that well. Drew McIntyre beats Dio Madden by DQ when all of the Hurt Business run in after 6 minutes and beat the fuck out of Drew McIntyre. A beatdown that is extended into this segment. It gets an 84. Lashley beats him up. MVP shouting about it. Cedric hits the kick to kill. Dio Madden hits, I guess, a choke slams at his finisher. Benjamin hits the pay dirt, and then Lashley locks in the Hurt Lock, and McIntyre falls asleep again. And it becomes very quickly, that McIntyre is outnumbered and may have bitten off more than he can chew, and the Hurt Business stand tall yet again. Moment of bliss. Alexa's on the stage, and she welcomes everyone to her. It's normal Alexa. There's nothing wrong with her at all in this segment. She's just normal. She's in her clothes, hosting Moment of Bliss, where she introduces the three women, Charlotte, Io, and Liv, who go back and forth on the mic. Liv again giving the promo about this is all she's got. She needs to get her title back, and that she knows she's the underdog. But the triple threat rules make it better for her because it's no DQ. She can beat whoever. She doesn't have to pin Io Shirai. She can finally get that win over Charlotte that she knows she can get to win the championship. When Charlotte's like, no, you are a joke, Liv. It is nice to know that I have somebody in here that I can just beat and make myself a 12-time women's champion, woo. And then Io wants a fight, but Charlotte and Liv back down. And then there's some derogatory remark made about Alexa. She'd be trying to calm the women down, and Charlotte would be like, you're not even in this match, bitch. Sit the fuck down, woo. And then that's when Alexa snaps. She jumps at Charlotte, but Io gets taken out instead by accident. And then, of course, Alexa, in a fit of rage, she doesn't really care. And she continues to attack Io. And then it ends in a match. Alexa versus Io Shirai. They get to 78. And Io pins Alexa with an 85. Not an 85, with an 857 with a German suplex. A 91 for Io and a 56 for Alexa. Jesus fucking Christ, Io, chill, girl. And then after the match, Io leaves when Alexa is sat in the corner. And I don't think I put a segment in for this, so I'm just going to say it here before we go forward. And then just in case I have, yeah. She then sits in the corner, pulling at her hair, stomping her feet in the corner, screaming in frustration. When she stands up, and she looks around, and then she drops to the floor. She drops to her knees, and she says, I'm ready. It's time. Take me. And the lights go off. And they come back on, and Alexa is gone. Raw Talk is hyped up with Charlie and R-Truth for their guests, Paige and AJ Lee, the Women's Tag Team Champions, who will defend against Nikki Cross and Kaylee Ray at Backlash. We're going to hear Paige's thoughts about that. Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. An 80-rated main event. And it is Buddy Murphy who gets the win. He defeats Ricochet in 16:53 with the Murphy's Law to cement his spot as Keith Lee's opponent at Backlash this Saturday night in his home country of Australia. An 87 for Ricochet and a 94 for Buddy Murphy. Hot new move for Ricochet, lack of psychology, and bad colour commentary from Byron Saxton and Kevin Owens. Because, yes, Kevin Owens is still on commentary. I haven't mentioned that since the first 4 after WrestleMania, but he is still here. And in my mind, he's doing a good job. And then after the match, Keith Lee wanders out with Eve, and Eve has the World Heavyweight title, and Keith Lee and Buddy Murphy sort of nod heads at each other, shake hands, as Eve holds the big gold between both of them, and they both look up, shaking each other's hands. Who will be the World Heavyweight Champion? 83 for Brian on Raw Talk. He's just laughing at Apollo. He says that for all these years, he believed he was one of the same people who thought that a guy like Apollo Crews wasn't getting his fair shake. But after seeing this, what he's become, I mean, what is this? What is this whole thing of crowning him a Nigerian prince? Who was that guy I beat up earlier? What is this, Apollo? What are you doing? You're losing your mind, and you may well be talented, and we'll probably have a hell of a match on Saturday, but this, I can't condone this, and if I've got to beat you to smack you back down to reality, then so be it. But I'm sorry that I lost and got pinned back when we lost our opportunity to get into the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, that's my bad. It annoys me as much as it annoys you. But come on, buddy. Let bygones be bygones and stop this silly shit. Paige and AJ, 78. Talk about how they may not have been... When they first came back, they didn't know how long this run was going to last. AJ thought her return was a one-off for Evolution, but here they are, Women's Tag Team Champions, and by God, they're going to make sure they keep these belts for as long as they can. And Paige, she's the one who brought Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross together, because she knew they could be a great tag team, and as evidenced by the fact that they've qualified for this match. But she's not going to take it easy on them, because Paige wants to keep her. So this could be her last title run. Again, neither of these women know how long they're going to be around for, and they don't plan on dropping it in their first defense. So Nikki Cross, Kaylee Ray, you're welcome for getting the best out of you, but you're not going to win this Saturday. And then Sheamus. He's always like, fella, what is this? Another week, another lack of Sheamus. I mean, I nearly became the franchise player for Raw at WrestleMania. So from that to nothing? I mean, what have I got to do to get on this show? I mean, what else is there, Charlie? I mean, and then she's like, well, Drew McIntyre's on the show every week, because maybe you need to follow in his footsteps, doing like an open challenge. And he says, no, he's been given opportunities because he is the franchise player. And yeah, I get it. I'd have them if I had them as well, but he's bitten off more than he can chew right now with the Hurt Business. And then Charlie's like, what are your thoughts on that, Sheamus? You're just going to sit idly by and let Drew get attacked? And he's like, look, Drew's business isn't my business. And the Hurt Business's business isn't my business. Sheamus's business is his business. And I don't know where my business is going to take me, what I need to do to find my feet on the show yet again, but I'm going to do it by myself. And I know Drew, he's not going to go down that fight. If he needs help, he knows where I am, but he's got this covered. That's when Otis walks in our frame, like, oh yeah, sorry for interrupting. It's like, oh yeah, Otis, I need to find my feet on this show too, Shamey. He's like, first of all, I said don't ever call me Shamey, because we're not friends. But second of all, this is my segment, what are you doing interrupting it? He's like, oh, my bad. I thought we were just spitballing ideas here. And James is like, no, well, we're not. I've got nothing to do with you. Go away. And Otis walks away, and Sheamus looks all pissed off as Raw Talk ends. For an 85, I thought I was going to get dinged for having too many segments on that show, but I guess not. 85 was really fucking good. That may well be the best Raw we've done, ever. I will have to check. But what matters more than the 85 is what you thought of the show. We won't be seeing the Raw crew until Saturday at Backlash, but before then is episode 129, which will be SmackDown's go-home show for Judgment Day. See you then.